These are my next plants. These actually were on clearance at Walmart. These are called caladiums, whatever. And I had these in my cocoa liners, but I felt like they weren't getting the moisture that they needed. They needed a bigger pot. They needed something that was going to help them to drain well. And since I didn't have a stand, I took two pot things that I had recently taken plants out of, and I just kind of made that a stand for now until I come up with something. But yeah, it just added a little bit of color to the porch, and they have very great foliage. They hang off the sides and stuff, which is what I was going for. These are my begonias. It's two of them, and I actually planted these at the beginning of summer. I did have both pots, but as you can see, I used a pot here, and I took that pot and set it there. But I merged these together, so it'll be a lot easier for me to keep them moist, maintain them, and the sun does scorch them. But for what I do with them, I think it works out perfectly, so it's just fine. These two right here got from Walmart. There's two of them on the porch. There's one here, and as you can see, there's one further on the porch. I'll walk over in a second. But these are ferns that were on clearance. They were basically dead. But as you can see, there's new ones that have grown in. There's new ones growing in at the bottom. These are the two that when it gets cold, I'll bring these in. These will be a great piece to add to my dining area with the setup that I'm doing with the kitchen table, the chairs, and things like that I'm doing with that. But that's another video. But yeah, I brought these back to life. And anytime I'm trying to find them. So anytime some of them dry off on the ends, instead of tearing them or cutting them straight across, I give them like an angled cut just for the aesthetic, and it just makes it look, you know, very pretty, very put together, very luxe, zhuzhing it up, making it look extremely, extremely nice. So this is the second one here. Over here, I'm gonna get into my chairs as well, but this is the second one. Like I said, these were brown, dead, but they have thrived and blossomed. And also with these, you do not have to water these every single day. It can kill them, but when it rains really hard down here where I am in Huntsville, Alabama, I feel like when it rains and it blows, because my house faces north, that they get all the moisture they need on those extra kind of windy, rainy days. And as you can see, this is somewhat sunset what my porch and yard looks like. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Needs a little bit of work, but we getting there. Also, these chairs, I want to definitely talk about these. These cushions came from Lowe's. One day I went in, washed this one with a white pillow. Never do that again. It got like some little stuff on it recently, but they only had one, and I like the color, to add some color to the porch, because I didn't have any colored flowers or plants at that time. So I only had one of these. Well, I went to Lowe's recently, and they had the second one on clearance, so I went ahead and picked that up. So yeah, great price for these. I think they were like 11 bucks or something like that. These chairs are actually refurbished pieces that I found on the side of the road, like a street over from where I live. Somebody was throwing them away, so what I did was I rewrapped the legs. I don't know if you can tell, but I rewrapped the legs and spray painted these like I did a brown undertone first, and then went over it with a black, just to kind of give it a brownish black color. They were originally white, and with the rain and stuff, I feel like they've held up pretty good. There's a few spots that I'd like to touch up, but for the most part, I feel like they've held up really good. This little rug, I want to repaint and redo. One thing that I'm not used to down here, in accordance to where I'm from, there's a lot of red clay dirt, and it stains your concrete. So at some point, I do plan on cleaning this and pressure washing it, making it really nice. And at some point, I'd like to put a concrete paint down, just to kind of cover it up, and that way it doesn't stain from the red clay dirt. So that's why I thought the rug was a very nice piece. This particular rug here, I actually found at a thrift store. I felt it's an outdoor rug actually. So anytime it gets too wet, I just set it on the driveway, it dries. I think I paid like $2 for this rug. It's extremely durable. And like I said, I want to paint it. That is my goal. I'm gonna use like some outdoor paint. I can probably get like a quart of it, just roll it and give it something different. But yeah, I mean, it has somewhat of the colors from the pillows and the chairs, so it just looks beautifully. So the next piece is like, I have these bushes here. These came with the house. This one may have to be removed. I had to remove one on the end down here because it eventually died. I don't feel like when they landscaped it, they considered rocks and things would slow the progression of the growth. But I feel like, you know, these two here have thrived really well. I have not cut them down because when I sit down, it kind of hides me. It gives me a little bit of a partition. And I like that. So I've just kind of left them as is. This is also a cherry blossom. I put it on the end just because when it blooms, this one I think has the white. I think it's white. The other one was pink. So yeah. Also, these little globes here that you see, the solar lights, these are a Dollar Tree find. They are very gorgeous. They almost look like cracked glass. Like I said, my landscaper had broke one of them when he was actually cleaning up the yard and cutting around the edging that's here, that I want to change out and make a deeper one because I want to extend this bed and possibly extend my porch. But that's just a thought right now. These are actually, I think they're called camellias, and these will eventually blossom the state's flower of Alabama. Because every state has a state flower. The state that I'm from is goldenrod. So these were a throwaway from somebody in the neighborhood, so I decided to plant them in the front yard. So prayerfully by next year they will do really well and they will actually have blooms on them. These two also came with the house. These two little bushes here, and they were really little, and the only reason that I keep them is because of the color. I do like the color. They shed a lot, but what I like about them is they don't shed everywhere else. They just shed underneath, so you really can't see it, and it really doesn't affect the mulch, so I just leave it as is. This is a zoomed out frame of the complete porch, entryway here, all this. And these are the Boston ferns that I bought today. I feel like the ones that I got from Walmart, they died really quick and they weren't as full. I got both of these for like $4.46 from Lowe's, and I just think they beautifully fit into my vision. A lot of greenery. I'm a Southern girl, so the idea of a wraparound porch is such a aesthetically pleasing idea, which is why I wanted to extend the front porch, give it something a little bit more, because even if, let me zoom out, even if I removed the last row of bushes, brought that forward and extended this further out into the yard and wrapped it around to the side, it would, even though that part of the porch would be somewhat exposed, it would be really good for decor. It'd be really good for more plants and just kind of still giving it that traditional wraparound southern porch feel without, you know, having to get permits and, you know, concrete and different things like that. So yeah, this is pretty much it. And of course, soon I'm actually going to be doing some decor for the entryway of the porch, but not too much. Just something maybe going into it that doesn't obstruct the walkway, because even on the video it looks okay, but in person it can be very narrow if you have too much going on there. Nothing I can do about that. It's just the way it was built. So that's pretty much it. And this is just, I want to replace this flag here too, because it was much darker. The bird was black at some point, but from being in the sun after a couple of years, 4 seasons, 2 times, it's going to sun fade, bleach itself out. So I'm gonna replace it too. But So yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to replace that. I want to get a higher edging so that it's very distinct, and I want to change the color of the mulch as well, also while extending that into the front yard, giving it something different. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video today. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will be doing all things like this, including things inside, outside, the whole nine.